You think you know me. You look at what I've become and decide you understand the path. You see the edges, the distance, the control. You don't see the erosion. You don't see what had to be carved away. People love clean stories. Hero, villain, right, wrong, good, evil. It helps them sleep, but you don't build what I built by sleeping. You build it by staying awake long after everyone else stopped caring. You think I chose this because it felt powerful? No, I chose it because it was the only shape that survived. You see the armor. You don't see the nights I went without it. The nights I tried being softer. The nights I tried explaining. The nights I let people misunderstand me because I thought patience would fix it. Patience doesn't fix everything. Sometimes patience teaches people they can keep taking. You say I'm cold now. You should have met me before. I used to open doors. I used to believe explanations were enough. I used to think if I just endured quietly, things would balance out. They don't. Balance is not automatic. It isn't forced, and no one was enforcing it for me. You think you know my struggles? You don't know what it's like to stand alone in a room full of people who expect you to carry the weight without complaint. You don't know what it's like to sacrifice parts of yourself so others don't feel uncomfortable. You don't know what it costs to keep choosing the harder road when the easier one would have let you stay liked. Popularity is cheap. Respected costs more. Feared costs everything. Do you know what I sacrificed? I sacrificed being understood. I sacrificed being welcomed. I sacrificed the version of myself that hoped everyone would eventually see the good intentions and reward them. They don't. Intentions don't protect you. Strength does. So I learned strength, not the loud kind, not the reckless kind, the kind that watches, the kind that calculates, the kind that does not ask twice. You judge what you see. You see the results of battles you never fought. You see the composure forged from nights I almost broke. You see the confidence built from years of being dismissed. You see the control that came from losing it once and deciding never again. You weren't there when I tried to be smaller. You weren't there when I let someone else decide my worth. You weren't there when kindness was mistaken for weakness. And you weren't there when I realized something important. No one was coming to save me. That realization changes you. It strips you down to the bone. It asks you a question no one wants to answer. If you don't protect yourself, who will? You think becoming this was easy. It wasn't. It cost friendships. It cost relationships. It cost the illusion of being good guarantees being safe. I stopped waiting for fairness. I started building leverage. You call that manipulation. I call it preparation. You call it ruthlessness. I call it refusing to bleed quietly. Listen carefully. I did not walk this path to impress anyone. I did not sharpen myself for applause. I did not become decisive so someone else could feel comfortable labeling me. I became this because the world taught me what happens to those who hesitate. Because I hesitated once, and it cost me. I still feel that cost. It sits in my chest like a reminder that vulnerability without boundaries is an invitation. That love without strength is a liability. That hope without action is a gamble. Villains are not born in darkness. They are forged in moments where softness failed, where wanting failed, where waiting failed, where trusting failed. And someone decided they would never be that unprepared again. You think you know my pain? You don't. But if you are listening this closely, maybe you know something like it. Maybe you've been judged by the armor you had to build. Maybe you've been told you changed, as if staying the same would have saved you. People prefer you gentle, predictable, convenient. They don't like when you evolve beyond their expectations. They don't like when you stop explaining. They don't like when you stop apologizing for surviving. So they call you a villain, or worse. Well, let them. Just let them. Because here's the truth no one wants to say out loud. Sometimes becoming the villain is the only way to stop being the victim. That doesn't mean you enjoy it. It doesn't mean you don't remember who you used to be. It means you chose yourself when no one else did. You built from battles they never saw. You hardened because softness was punished. You learned to stand alone because leaning cost too much. That isn't evil. That's adaptation. You are not required to shrink so that others can remain comfortable. You are not required to bleed to prove you're kind. You are not required to explain the scars that made you sharper. You think you know me? You know the outcome. You don't know the construction. And if you ever have to choose between being liked and being unbreakable, choose carefully. Because being liked will keep you comfortable. Being unbreakable will keep you standing. Being liked earns approval. Being unbreakable earns survival. One will make them clap for you. The other will make them hesitate before crossing you again. And once you understand what it truly costs to rebuild yourself from nothing, what it takes to stitch yourself back together without help, what you have to bury, burn, and outgrow, you stop apologizing. Not for your boundaries, not for your distance, not for the way your voice no longer shakes. You stop apologizing for the actions you took to become unbreakable.